What's up, folks? What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of Terrible Town Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement, aka the virtual Heinz Field. And sorry for that little hesitation there. My little one came in and asked me a question before we got started. So shout outs to everybody, man, in the comments. Hope everyone had a great Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. So I hope your Father's Day was great and grand. I hope you guys enjoyed your holiday yesterday. For those that don't know what holiday it was Juneteenth. Not even going to get into the significance of Juneteenth. It became a federal holiday last year. And I'm happy that my job is one that recognizes it. So hope you guys, again, happy Father's Day for the fathers. And hope you enjoyed your holiday yesterday. And now let's get down to business. So what we're going to do first and foremost, like we always do, first off, we're going to recognize a donation. Round of applause. So round of applause there for my man, Antoine. He says, Sim, I sent a redraft of that Killer B era's email. Okay. Maybe we'll end the show with that because I definitely want to mention that to you guys. I got a few topics to get into, man. I'm trying to be quick and brief tonight. Again, nothing really concrete to talk about. We all know we're waiting for training camp to get started. So there you have it. So anyway, let's cut on the timer. Boom. And let's get right to it. Let's say hello to some of the early commenters. Early commenters of the night. First and foremost, Jay Underrated, Lee Sharp, Jack Bauer, The Real Missy 868. Hello, Miss Lady. Appreciate you coming through and tuning in. Always appreciate our lovely ladies in the chat, so thank you so very much. Devil, Mr. Winningham, G Stacks, Tony Barnes, Joshua Shields, Rel Fax, C. Antoine Hill, as we already know with the donation. Thank you again for that. Who else we got up in here? Stilla Lee, Cody, who else? Charlie Brown. Hello, Miss Lanisha. How you doing tonight, Lanisha? Hope you are well. Thank you, Miss Lady, for coming through and hanging out with us tonight. Brian Williams is in the building. Steelers baby in the building. Who else we got? Tony Carlson, State of the Steelers. Who else? We'll read a few more. Ernest Grice, Rajon 39, and a couple more. TTB Ballin. Hello, Miss Debbie. Miss Debbie is out tonight as well. So as you can see, some of our most important ladies are here tonight. The Real Missy, Lanisha, and Debbie. And all of y'all are important, but you know, I'm going to emphasize it anyway. All right, I guess we'll end it right there, man. That's good right there. Let's jump into the topics. So the topics that I'll be getting into tonight, mainly we're going to cover a few things that we've, seen and heard, via reports. We now know that Larry Ogunjobi has been signed to a one-year deal. That's going to be the main topic. Also, we'll talk a little bit about Gerry Dulac and what he said, supposedly reported, some of the players not being happy with Matt Canada's formations. We'll again revisit Steelers signing Minkah Fitzpatrick and what that means. I kind of did that in the independent video, but we'll just rehash that again. Chase Claypool making mention of him being a top 5, even a top 3 receiver in the league. We'll, discuss that a little bit. And then the only thing else, man, just wanted to highlight, if you haven't seen it, man, I recommend you guys go check out The Pivot with Ryan Clark, Channing Crowder, as well as Fred Taylor. They do a great job on that podcast. They have Mike Tomlin on there. I watched it earlier today. Very good interview, man. And it's always good to see, guys like Mike Tomlin. And I say guys like him, like your head coach, people that you're unable to really see the personal stuff all the time. It's always good to see how they talk and feel and, get some personal things going. And, it's going to be good for you guys to see that. So go check it out on The Pivot. I was going to mention something that he talked about in regards to Brian Flores, and I'll be very brief with that. But, yeah, very good watch, very good listen. So go check that out. All right, so I guess the first thing we'll start off with, let me see. What do we got? Let's talk about Gerry Dulac real quick. Again, according to Gerry Dulac, it is being reported that some of the players expressed that they did not like the formations that Matt Canada put on display last season in 2021. I think most of us have hit on that pretty hard. We beat that dead horse. I kind of feel like I know why, the offense was what it was last year with Ben Roethlisberger being at the helm. I've often said as well that this year, 2022, and I'm going to stick by this throughout the season, Matt Canada is on display. All right, the target is on him. The X is on his back, if you will, or right on his chest, if you will. Because you do not have a veteran quarterback who is used to a structure and used to a system and has quite a bit of cachet, right? You don't have that anymore. The same veteran who is more of a statue-esque quarterback at this point in his career. Don't have that anymore, right? The same quarterback who, in my opinion, was phenomenal in the no-huddle, in the 2-minute drills. You don't have that guy no more. And the reason why I bring those specific scenarios up, because, again, it's his way. That was Ben's way. You don't have those restrictions anymore, Mr. Canada. You also have something that you were seeking. Your head coach, your boss, for the most part. Well, not, Art Rooney and the Rooney family is the boss, but y'all know what I'm saying. Your head coach came out during the season and kept saying, the mobile quarterback is such an unappreciated luxury, or he said it's actually a must-have, or it's something that you're going to need in today's NFL. Guess what Mike Tomlin and others, Kevin Colbert and whoever else, guess what they did? They went out and they got you 2 mobile quarterbacks. Before I continue, let me ask you guys here. How do I sound in this stream? Does my voice sound okay? The reason why I asked that is some of you guys may have saw my gaming stream a few days ago. Somehow I had inadvertently cut on a noise suppressor on my OBS software, and I can't hear it on my side, but you could hear it in the stream, so that the sound of the game and stuff was pretty choppy. So I just want to confirm with you guys before I continue that my voice is clear and things like that. I'm good. Okay, great. Appreciate that because it ticked me off when I listened back to the stream and I was like, it killed me, because I hate stuff, the audible things. I hate those things being off. But anyway, we're good. So I'm not going to bore you guys with that. But yeah, so they went out and got you 2 mobile quarterbacks, guys that can move. A veteran in Mitch Trubisky and a young rookie in Kenny Pickett. And also even got you a guy in the 7th round just to play around with, for the most part. Right? So, Matt Canada, there is no excuse. There's zero excuse. You even got a guy in your quarterback room in a Mason Rudolph that's saying, kind of throwing jabs at Ben, kind of saying now the OC can kind of do it his way. Everyone is campaigning for you. There is no excuse. So if there's any, validity to what Gerry Dulac is hearing, the target is on you, buddy. Because I think a lot of us said that here. Yes, a good amount of us here said that, look, we understand his limitations last season. Those are gone. It is your show. You have 2 quarterbacks who are brand new to the organization. Well, 3 if you want to include Oladokin, but Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, which most people think those are going to be the 2 guys competing to be the number 1. Both of these guys are brand new. So you have all of the say. Let's see what you do with it. Because if what Gerry Dulac is reporting is true, that players were unhappy with his formations, you could have did some better things, in my opinion, even with Ben Roethlisberger. Right? What did we all say? Build to your strengths. So even if Ben Roethlisberger, and again, I don't want to say how easy it could have been for him to do better, because again, if Ben was really running the show, it could have very well been one of those things where Ben went to the brass and said, look, I want to finish this thing out my way. And it could have very well have been that. Y'all know how business works. But again, no excuses, Matt Canada, this season. Even if it's unsuccessful, let me preface it by saying that, because there's no guarantees in this league, right? Even if the offense isn't as successful as we like, we bet not be able to come back and say it was because of formation or lack of creativity or variation. I would hope all of us would be able to say, well, man, they tried. We just didn't execute. Because you can still visually see if there's new things being implemented or alignment and things like that, and it just didn't work because of said player, or maybe you called it at the wrong time, versus looking very vanilla. So we'll see. We shall see. We shall see. All right, the next thing on the list, man, let's go ahead and knock out Minkah Fitzpatrick. Again, I did an independent video, guys. If you haven't seen that, yes, shameless plug. Go watch that video to get my reactions to it. But listen, we all knew this was coming. Where I would give credit to Omar Khan is he's not playing around. He's getting things done and getting them done quickly. Cool to see that. My biggest takeaway from the signing is the fact that it happened when it happened. What have we been hearing for years? What have we been seeing for years? The Steelers organization usually wait until this amount of time or wait until this point in the season before they get the deal done. During the end of training camp or right before the last preseason game or like right before the start of the new season. That's what we've traditionally seen when it's been like these contracts that you're waiting to happen, right? Excuse me. It's normally... Sorry, guys. Excuse me. Let me take a quick sip of water. Actually, no, not this one. Take a quick sip of cold water. I like ice cold water, man. Some people room temperature. I'm a cold water type of guy. Whatever. But yeah, usually the Steelers wait. They got this thing done right out the chute before going into training camp. So bravo to Omar Khan and whoever else assists him in the matter. And bravo to Minkah and his agent, and for everyone getting on the same accord, making the money work, a deal that everyone's happy with, and getting it done before even going to training camp. So it's a non-story. Because you already got Deontay Johnson sitting out there, but at least you get the obvious one out the way. Now, as far as how I feel about it, there's nothing to dislike about it. Some of y'all might disagree, because, we had disagreements during the season last year. Because some people only see numbers, right? In terms of, oh, well, he doesn't have many interceptions and da-da-da-da-da. Because, again, a lot of people, no disrespect, but a lot of people are highlight watchers. They just look at statistical data. They don't really look at what a player is bringing to the table. Cam Hayward is a great example. Cam Hayward has, of recent years, he's had the production to match for the most part. But a lot of times, Cam Hayward, the production doesn't jump off it's not jumping off of the stat sheet. But when you watch the game, you see where he's significant, what he means to the defense. Same can be said about Minkah Fitzpatrick last year. And since he's been with the Steelers. But last year in particular, with him not having as many interceptions and things like that, but if you didn't see his value to that defense last year, you're never going to see it. Let me say it in a nice way. If you are one of those people that did not see Minkah Fitzpatrick's value to the Steelers defense in 2021, you'll never see it. Am I fair in saying that, some of you guys? Some of you guys that get it, that's a fair assessment, right? So for those of you that didn't see his value last season, I'm not talking to you because we're never going to agree on that because you're not seeing the same thing. And again, that's not a slight. That's not a disrespect. It's just telling it like it is. If you ain't see it, bro, in last season, and most of you out here who, you guys who saw it know why I'm emphasizing last season. Dog. So I have zero problems with that deal. Money-wise, whatever. Zero. There's nothing you can find, in my opinion, negatively about Minkah Fitzpatrick being signed to the Steelers for an extended amount of time. Absolutely nothing. So there you have it. Just wanted to address it again. I already, addressed it in the independent video, but just wanted to bring it up here. I believe most of us are happy. So there you have it. Let's see. The next thing, rolling right along, guys. Like I said, these shows, man, non-season shows are in and out, bro. I'm not wasting a lot of time. I'm not going to hold you guys up long. Let's talk a little bit about Chase Claypool. Now, admittedly, I have not watched the clip. I have not watched the interview. I think he did the interview on the I Am Athlete, which is now Brandon Marshall, LaShawn McCoy, and who else is the other one? I think Pac-Man Jones. Haven't watched I Am Athlete in a while. I'm being honest. Since some of the guys like Fred Taylor left I Am Athlete, I've grown more accustomed to the Pivot. The Pivot is one of the podcasts. I told you guys I don't watch many podcasts. I watch some. The Pivot is one of those ones that I watch and I enjoy. I've seen quite a few conversations and interviews they've had, and I've enjoyed them all. So again, if you're new to it, I recommend checking it out, man. Ryan Clark, Channing Crowder, Fred Taylor. They do a phenomenal job. So I haven't really watched I Am Athlete as much. But anyway, Chase Claypool was on there, and I think the interview was about 30 minutes or something. So I might go check it out just to hear full context. But again, I don't really need to hear full context because I know a lot of times when things are headlines or these things that become clickbait, it's usually because someone is taking something out of context or they're not giving you the full context of how the person may have said something. How many times have we seen that happen in the media? I don't do that. I'm not a journalist. But if you want to call me something like that, I guess, because I do a Steeler podcast, okay. But that's never my approach. It's never my approach. Because I know a lot of times people will take a little piece of something you said and they'll try to flip it. People have done that with me. So I don't need to see the full context. I just want to talk about how I feel about Chase Claypool saying this. And I'll tell you that in just a moment after we recognize Steeler Lee for a donation. Round of applause. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Says, what was Claypool supposed to say? I love the confidence. Shoot for the top spot. Exactly what I tell my son who plays DB in high school. Shout outs to young Steeler Lee. Go ahead and do your thing out there at DB. Says, if you don't think you're the best, then get off of the field. Steeler Lee, I'm going to give you another round of applause, and I'm going to tell you why. Those are my exact sentiments. Right there. Like I said, I don't even have to see the interview to know. And however he said it, unless it came off brash, like I'm the best receiver out here. Ain't nobody better than me. Unless he doing that, and which I know he didn't, I don't need to see it. Because what else are you supposed to say? Are you supposed to say, I'm probably like the 48th best receiver in the league? Now, some people might say, well, you don't have to put a rating on it. Maybe not. Maybe you could word it differently. But at the root of what he said, I love the confidence. Now, guess what, Chase Claypool? You know what I'm going to do as a fan? I'm going to hold you to that and challenge you to shoot for that. Let me see your confidence in your play. Even if you don't become the 3rd or 5th best receiver in the league, top 5, top 3 is what he said. Let me see you attempting to be that. Put the money where your mouth is. That's all I'm going to challenge you with as a fan. But I'm not mad at you saying that. Because what else are you supposed to do? I'm going to be upset at him for saying, right now I'm probably at the bottom. No, you never say that. What I do like, and they quoted, again, I got to watch it, but they said that he specifically said, I'm different than a lot of these other receivers. That's the part I hone in on. What is he talking about? Show me that. Show me what you're different about. I want to see that. Skill set. You know, like, I'm more interested in that. And I don't know if he went into that. That's why, again, I'm going to watch the interview because I don't want to know if he went further down the road with that. But I want to know what is he identifying there as making him different. Round of applause to Kev So Fun for the donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Says Sim had a rough weekend. The Celtics losing, still going to be a fan and glad football is coming back. And you saw Mike T on the Pivot podcast. Yes, I did. I absolutely watched that earlier today. And I had a pretty good weekend, actually. I'm sorry to hear that you had a rough one, you know, you being a Celtics fan. You know, father-in-law Leonard, I believe, is in here. Just got back from a little mini vacation with him and my mother-in-law, my wife, my son, and my nephew. We went to the beach for a couple days, had a real good time. So some stuff I missed this weekend because we left, you know, we just left Sunday morning, came back later, you know, a little earlier today. And didn't get to see everything. And, you know, I might have been a little quiet on social media and stuff because I was enjoying family. But definitely, hey, man, listen, Celtics had their opportunities. You know, that's all I can say. You cannot allow the Warriors to gain any confidence. And I remember saying, man, if the Warriors went up 3-2, then there was going to be problem on the Celtics' hands. And it is what it is. You know, it sucks. Definitely sucks if you're a Celtics fan, man. But, yeah, they had opportunities, I think, to get that thing done. But absolutely, man, I definitely did watch the Pivot. Please, guys, you know, I would encourage you. It's your team's head coach. Go watch him on there. Really good listen and a really good watch. So there you have it. But yeah, the last thing I got on Claypool, look, man, I love that confidence. I love you saying that I can be or I am one of the top 5 or 3 receivers in the league. Okay, now show me. That's all. I have no other problem with him saying that. All right? Because again, what else is he supposed to say? What else is he supposed to say other than believing in himself and thinking he has that type of talent? So go get it. Let's see what else we got, guys. I think the only thing else I got is a little bit about Tomlin and then Larry Ogunjobi, and then we can get out of here. And then again, at the end of the show, I'll kind of read a little bit of, you know, what Antoine said. Actually, let me pull that up, you know, about the Killer Bee era. So I have it here queued up. Give me a second, guys. Okay, here it is. And we'll throw that out there. But yeah. As far as Mike Tomlin, man, you know, what I did learn, and I kind of knew some of this, not the whole thing, but on the Pivot, he mentioned that he mainly pushed the hiring of Brian Flores. The reason why I wanted to highlight that, because I know a lot of times, guys, we sit here and we talk on this show, what do we know for definite, right? What do we know that is in Tomlin's control, was in Kevin Colbert's control at that time, and now Omar Khan, Art Rooney, like there's a lot of things that we never know who makes the final decision. So it was good to hear the confirmation that he was the one pushing for Brian Flores. And he actually said, and I don't want to give the story away, I'll let you guys go watch it yourself, but basically how it came about when he first reached out to him, it had nothing to do with coaching. You know, it was some other stuff, some supportive stuff. Again, I want y'all to hear the story told with your own ears instead of recapping here. But basically how they derived to it in the end was like, wait a minute, he's still wanting to coach. You know, it's obvious that the opportunities as a head coach is drying up. And Mike Tomlin made it, you know, on himself to be like, I want this guy, this level coach, and I can get him on my staff regardless of the title. Forget the title. This is a great football coach. And he said he walked down the hall and went to Art Rooney and asked him, and, you know, and next thing you know, he gets signed. So I think that was cool, man. And also I like what Tomlin said here. Again, I'm not telling y'all the whole thing because I want y'all to hear the story. I hate when people ruin a story for me. I hate that, especially like with movies and stuff. And shout outs to my boy Kenyon and my brother Tony, because I was one of those late Game of Thrones guys. And when I finally watched it, they wouldn't tell me nothing. And I loved them for that, because I hate I hate people taking that experience away from me. I want to feel the same way you felt when you saw something, heard something, what have you. Don't take the experience away from me. Don't even let me know what's about to happen. Don't even say, man, wait till. No. Let me experience it the way you experience it. So that's how I do people. I don't ruin nothing. I don't ruin nothing. So even the little stuff I'm saying here is not completely telling the story away. But again, I just like the whole sentiment of Tomlin kind of feeling like it would have been disrespectful, to approach him with just being on his staff. And then it worked out that way. But yeah, go check that out, man. But I thought it was great to highlight that because, like I said, there's not many things that we get to know who for sure made a decision, and that was one of them. So that was cool. Yeah, man. And like I said, I see Kenyon commenting here. Yeah, man. Kenyon and Tony is great with that, man. They don't tell you stuff that I haven't seen that they've seen. And folks, I encourage y'all, do that to your people. Don't ruin their experience. Do not do that. But anyway, let's see. Last thing. Larry Ogunjobi. Steelers signed a 1-year deal. I have not seen the particulars yet. Let me see if it's out there. This is live, right? Let's see if it's already out there. See if we can find it. The monies. See if the monies is out there. Maybe some of you guys have seen it. You can let me know. Doesn't look like it. Let me check one other area. Usually Twitter floats this stuff a little faster than most. Let's see. I even see Steelers Depot speculating. They said he would think it would be anywhere between 4.5 and 6.5, but doesn't look like anything concrete. Wait, the Steelers did post something here, and it just says financials not disclosed. All right. So again, Omar Khan doing Omar Khan things. I think this to me is a great signing because of the loss of Stephon Tuitt. But not only just that, but yeah, the Stephon Tuitt loss, I would say run game support, right? Because I think we have enough pieces that we might be able to get a little combination of somewhat Stephon Tuitt production and sub-package ball. I think Leal is going to give you some snaps. I think Loudermilk may be able to take another step. Chris Wormley played very well last year. Some of you guys would know that who really watched the game. So I think in sub-package ball, we'll be able to compensate the loss for Stephon Tuitt with multiple guys. It's still going to be a hit because Stephon Tuitt was good at both when he was healthy. However, the run game is where we suffered. So to see them go out and get a D tackle, bona fide D tackle, and this guy has showed up wherever he's played, had career sacks last year, total of 7 sacks, a total of 49 tackles. You add him into the mix along with Alu. I'm loving the depth right now. All right, because what you have right now is you have, obviously, Cam Hayward leading the way. You got Alu, Chris Wormley, a pretty decent trio right there. You can kind of say, Wormley is we'll see what you get from him. But like I said, Wormley played good enough last year for me to say, okay, you got a decent little pairing right there, especially with Cam Hayward leading the way. Then you get a Loudermilk that showed some spark last year. You got Martravius Adams still. You got Leal. And now you're going to add Ogunjobi. Well, let me see. How many is that? Is that 6? Because Steelers usually keep around 6 D linemen. So let me do it again. Cam Hayward, Wormley, Alu, Adams, that's 4, Leal, Loudermilk. Ooh. And now Ogunjobi. Now this makes it interesting, guys, and I bumped into another topic that I didn't think about. Who's on the chopping block? Who doesn't make it? Does the Steelers keep 7? They haven't really kept 7 D linemen, guys. Wait, let me do that again. And I'm missing somebody. Cam, Tyson, that's 2. Warmly, Loudermilk, that's 4. Adams, Leal. This is interesting, guys, because again, let's count the names again. Who gets cut? Cam Hayward, Chris Wormley, Montravius Adams, Tyson Alualu, Leal, Loudermilk, and now Ogunjobi. This is going to be interesting. Do the Steelers keep 7? So if they don't keep 7 and they only keep 6 like they normally do, who's on the chopping block? That is an interesting one. Round of applause again to Kev. So fun. Got another donation. Appreciate that. Yeah, and I see some of you guys saying Henry Mondo, but see, I didn't even put Mondo in that because I think Mondo for sure is up out of here. But out of those 7 names that I just read, if they don't keep 7, who would get cut out of those guys? Interesting. The donation says, as a Steelers, I think he said fan, with Gronk retiring, we as fans remember him running our defense, ruining our defense of a Super Bowl. Can't put that on Gronk, and shout outs to Gronk and his career, man. You know, listen, we just couldn't stop him at the time, man. You know, vanilla zones and him abusing guys like Sean Davis. Gronk and Brady were it. You know, they were just an amazing pair. So, yeah. And I see some of you guys saying some of the Davis brothers. See, some of these guys are going to hit practice squad. And I don't know if Mondo still has eligibility there. Let's see. One of you guys said, where is it? One of you guys just rolled off your list. I just lost it. Where is it? Looks like it was Sean Manahan. He says Cam, Alu, Leal, Ogunjobi, Wormley, and Adams. So you think Loudermilk gets cut? Not a chance. It's not a chance. Not a chance. I don't think Loudermilk gets cut. I think they might find a way to keep 7 guys, man. It's gonna be interesting though. It's gonna be interesting. You wouldn't think it would be Alu, would it? You wouldn't think it would be Wormley. So like Sean just said too, yeah, they probably gonna keep 7 under the underground Connie Corso. And for you guys that don't know that, because his name represents the dog. A lot of people say Kane. It's Connie. Connie Corso is how you pronounce that dog. A lot of people say Kane Corso. It's not how you pronounce it. But anyway, let's get to it. Yeah, Kenya. Loudermilk's not getting cut. All right, last little piece of information here are the phone calls. Let's see if we got a couple phone calls. If we do, we'll grab those, and then we'll come back and we'll read the Killer B segment from C. Antoine Hill. We got Mr. Winningham in the queue, so let's grab the calls. Let me make sure I have the browser turned up so you guys can hear the callers. I do. All right, first up, area code 803, Mr. Winningham. What you got for us tonight, sir?
Well, good evening. I love the Ogunjobi, however you pronounce it. It's going to take a while for me to get that down. But I like the signing because what it does is gives a little bit, take some of that usage from Cam Hayward. I mean, Cam has had high usage for the last 3 years, and I think what that does is save Cam, and also I'm not so sure on Alu. Can he come back? Who knows? He's up there in age. He might be the one. He actually might be the one that we actually cut. And with all the changes we've brought in, the highest paid defense in the NFL this year, also a lot. You were talking about people talking about, well, Minkah stats. He ain't not picking up this. This man had 124 tackles, I believe, for a free safety, not a strong safety. A free safety making that many tackles. So bringing in a lot of these guys will help free up some of his usage. And as our backups can give them a little blow. Only thing I would wish is we add a left tackle. We need a left tackle. We need somebody to give my man a little competition. I would hope maybe a Eric Fisher, but he's up in age, but maybe a little bit more experience. That's the only thing, Matt Canada, that's the only excuse I can see him using. We have loaded him up with weapons. So thank you so much. I hope everybody have a great week.
Man, Mr. Winningham, thank you so much for your call. Like always, definitely appreciate it. And yeah, you know, and that's why I said that you have to assume, you know, you never know how business is going to work out, man. You know, if they can keep 7, they will. But that is a question. You know, I know a lot of us say we missed Alu, which we did, but you went younger. You know, Ogunjobi just turned 28, and you pronounce his name pretty well. It sounds like to me, Mr. Winningham, but he just turned 28 on June 3rd. Alu was upwards to what? What is Alu now? 35? Hold on, let me see. So sometimes that might be how the cookie crumbles, man. I mean, it's business, guys. Let me see. Tyson, Alu. Let's see how old is Tyson, man. Tyson is 35 years old. 35 years of age. Now, of course, I love Tyson Alu. I think he has been a really good find and phenomenal for the Steelers. But it's business. You know? So if it comes down to that and the Steelers feel like they have a younger replacement, they could do that. Even though I don't think Alu gets cut, but it could be. Just imagine if Ogunjobi is pushing him in camp. And imagine if some of these other guys they want to, keep. But again, it could be that they might keep 7. And here's the reason why they might keep 7. Because we had so much trouble last year stopping the run. They might want to be committed to having depth in case we're gutted again by injury. So let's not rule out them keeping 7. I was just throwing it out there saying, what if? What if they only keep 6? Who would be the guy? So, all right, let me move forward, man. Next call, 951. What you got for us?
Hey, this is Bets from Cali. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, so my question is with the additions that they made on the defense as it sits right now, how confident do you and the other Steelers fans feel about how we match up not only against, the opponents in our division, but how well are we going to be able to match up against the rest of the AFC? Thanks for taking my call.
Man, thank you for calling. And wow, quick call there. Appreciate that. Getting in, getting out. You know what? That's a real great question because, the Steeler bias and all of us want to say, oh, man, we can compete with them. We really have to wait and see what we're putting on the field. If I'm looking at it right now, prior to camp, I'm just looking at all of the levels, right? I look at the D line. So I'm going to talk about from base and from sub. So in base, you're looking at Cam Hayward. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Loudermilk? Is it going to be Leal? Which one of those guys are going to be the guy that plays in base? Not quite sure yet. Ogunjobi is a D tackle. Do they move him to their, it's might be Chris Wormley. Could be Chris Wormley in base. So I look at that because it's more likely going to be Cam, Alu, and then we're not quite sure who's going to be the other end. Like I said, it could be Warmly, could be Loudermilk. I wouldn't expect it to be Liao because, you're going to expect that this is going to be more running. So if we're talking about using base formation more so because you're expecting a run game, right now my money would be on probably Warmly, maybe Loudermilk. But again, I'm just guessing. But you never know. They might shuffle pieces around. They might try to slide Ogunjobi out there and see what he could do as a 3-4 end. I don't know. I'm not saying any of this would work. I'm just saying. But then, okay, again, at that level, you got Cam Hayward. Sub package, you got Cam. You're going to have Ogunjobi or Tyson Alu or a Loudermilk or Liao. All of those dudes will be able to play that D tackle in the sub. Chris Warmly. So you got a lot right there alongside Cam and then TJ and Highsmith. Feeling good about that. Go to the next level. Miles Jack. Feeling really good about that. I hope that he brings the best out of Devin Bush. So you potentially have two guys who can run around and fly. Let's look at the back end. Akello Witherspoon, I feel okay about that. Can't say I feel good. I feel okay. He earned himself a contract in his, 6-7 games that he played in, but he's got to prove that. We got to see what Levi Wallace is going to do. Being that guy on the island out there. Because right now, it's assumed that it would be those three in sub, right? And Cam will still play inside because I think we got our best production last year when it was Akello opposite the other corner, which many times was Joe Hayden, and sliding Cam Sutton inside. I think that's where we got our best secondary production from a corner standpoint, was when we slid Cam Hayward inside. Cam Sutton. But I can't say I'm as confident with that. The corner area, I'm a little wait and see. But then on the back end behind that, we got Minkah. And all Minkah got to do is play like he played last year. And I think him and Terrell Edmonds complement each other. And again, I think Terrell Edmonds played fairly well last season, doing what he does. So can we compete? I think so. I think we'll be able to compete against the other AFC teams because, again, I think we have a stud for the most part at every level of the defense. So that's not even a biased answer. So, yeah, I do think we'll be able to compete. It then will come down to how well our offense is, how well are they producing? The offense is helping them and complementing them. I think we'll be able to compete. It is going to be tough, though, even in our own division. But I think we can compete. We'll see. It's going to be tricky, though, man, because, again, we don't know what the offense is going to be. We really don't. We have weapons on the offense, but we don't know if it's going to be Mitch or Kenny and what exactly Mitch or Kenny is going to bring to the table game after game, down after down. So, good question, though, man. Really good question there. All right, the next one, area code 313. What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing, Mike?
Oh, good, man. How you doing?
I just wanted to ask your opinion. My whole thing is the question mark now. I'm kind of cool with the defense, especially with Brian Flores added to that defense and how he coached his Dolphins defense, the physicality and every level that they brought. I think the defense is going to be much improved, especially against the run, and it's going to be a more intense, a more coming downhill, old school, hard-hitting defense. My question is, I've been looking at film, going over a lot of tape of offensive linemen from Mason Cole, Daniels, and everybody down on Dan Moore for some reason. He was a rookie, but he did kind of hold his own for a better part of the season. And remember, in year 2, that's when you make your step forward. Give him a chance. I think he's going to do real well. And watching the tapes, I went back to games 1 in the regular season, 2, 3, and 4, and just watched him. And I watched I left right tackle. They did actually pretty good. Our problem was the interior line. But I went back and watched Mason Cole with the Arizona Cardinals, and he held his own. and was able to pick up blitzing linebackers, holding down that middle and stopping people from coming up the middle. That is going to be the key to our offense doing anything, even with the new quarterback, even with Najee. Our interior line is going to be the most important part come out of training camp. If they get that together and get that fixed, we're going to look good for some good football to even help whoever that quarterback might be. That is going to be the most key. And the defense is going to be, I say, if we can hold people on that average of 19, 20 points, I think we will have a nice, successful record. And that's what's going to be the key. The interior line with Mason Coles and Daniels. And then my sleeper of the whole group is going to be that boy from Alabama who signed as a free agent. I watched him in all the games. If you want to go back and watch against Georgia, Chris Owens was holding his own against Deontay Wyatt. He held it against some outside linebackers. That boy got some skill, and they kicked him in the guard. So that's my dark horse in camp. I'm just saying I'm looking forward to, to seeing it and hope it comes to fruition. So just give me your thoughts. I appreciate everybody. Y'all have a blessed one. Thank you.
Man, 313, man. Great assessment there. Outstanding assessment, because you are correct, sir. Where you are correct is the offensive line, the interior offensive line for the Steelers. And hold on, guys, my mic is going crazy. Adjust the sound a little too much. Hold on, let me get it back where it needs to be. There we go. Yeah, the interior offensive line is going to tell the story, because if we're able to run that football, let's not forget that boy in the back. Like you said, Najee, the Steelers being able to run the football is going to change the complete complexion of what we think this team can or can't be. And that's an obvious statement, but it's a true statement, because the Steelers haven't been successful really running the football like consistently in the last 2 seasons. Ran it a little bit better last year, but still not great. And Najee, I know he still got 1,000 yards, but a lot of that was tough yards, and some of it was play call. Because there was that one, that the inside, the zone split, we ran that like crazy, and it was work. But yeah, that's going to dictate everything for Mitch or Kenny, or even if Rudolph was playing. If we can run the football, and I think with the defense that we have, that can at least be a solid defense, like you said, I think we're looking at a team, even if we're being modest, right? I think we're looking at a defense right now that can hold teams under 20. If you want to be a little more fair, and you could say, okay, let's say 20 under 24. That gives you a lot of room, because a lot of these AFC teams are going to be able to score 20-something points, right? So let's say if the Steelers can average less than 24 points on the worst end, and we're able to run the football, yeah, we can win a lot of these games. So I agree with you there. I definitely agree with that. I hope Chris Owens does turn into something. I don't remember, didn't really watch his full performance against Georgia, but I do remember watching the game against A&M. And funny, a couple of those guys that are on our team now, and Johnson and Leal, had some moments against that offensive line. So, I think his game might be a little up and down, but we'll see. Oh, Lord, here we go, guys. We got the craziness in here. Hold on, give me a second. These people crack me up, man. Let me get one of these comments out of here. Hold on, folks. Hold on, folks.
Choice and value go together like.
Why is it showing? Is Mason Rudolph still showing as the thumbnail, guys? Is it still showing as the thumbnail in the video? It's weird. When I look at my phone, it shows the thumbnail twice.
Respawn here.
It's very strange. It shows me both Larry Ogunjobi and Mason Rudolph. So I don't know. Yeah, I think that was a great breakdown. But like I said, Chris Owens, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. The jury is still kind of out on him, but it would be great if he could turn into something, a guy that sticks, and it becomes one of those serviceable linemen, whether it's depth or a guy that can swing. If he can kick inside, he can play outside. So I'm open for that. But all right, guys, that's going to do it as far as the phone call. So let me get Blog Talk out of here. And then we'll finish up the show with what somebody said. Oh, Mason Rudolph is still showing as the thumbnail. I don't know why, but I guess I'll have to fix that after the fact. But anyway, let's get to see Antoine Hill's comments, man. And I want to see what you guys say. I'm going to read it here, word for word. He says, I hope all is good with you and the fam. It is. I appreciate you asking. I hope the same for you, my brother. He says, I missed the show last night. And this was him rehashing the email from last week. Hold on. We got a donation. No, we got a new subscriber. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome. Appreciate that. Welcome from joining the home team, man. We happy to have you here. So, all right, here we go. He says, I missed the show last night, but I seen the taping of it. When y'all was talking about the Killer Bee era, I had to go back and do some research to see who was on that Steelers defense and why it wasn't great at all. And he writes and he expresses this. He says, man, they missed a whole lot of names, bruh. Now, if we had this defense, forget 7, we would have made a three-peat and the Pats wouldn't beat us at all. Wow. He says, all caps of players missed. This is from 2007 to 2012 and 13. So these are the names that he has here. Again, the names in all caps are guys that we missed out. And I guess, again, I'm relying on C. Antoine Hill's research. He's saying these are guys that we had an opportunity to have on the team. So, of course, we got Cam Haywood in all caps, Akeem Hicks, Stephon Tuitt, James Harrison, Ryan Shazier, in caps, Sean Lee, Lamar Woodley, in caps, Darrelle Revis, in caps, Richard Sherman, Ike Taylor, Troy Polamalu, and then he says in caps, Cam Chancellor. So he says, when you can, go back and look up when these guys got drafted and what rounds and numbers they were picked. You'll be shocked. Laugh out loud. I hope you bring this up on the show. So there it is. So what he's basically saying, guys, is if we had these players into the fold in between 2007 and through 2013, the Steelers would have had a formidable defense and would have won Super Bowls during that Killer Bee era. So again, I'll just read some names again. I'll just read the names of guys that we didn't get: Akeem Hicks, Sean Lee, Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, and Cam Chancellor. And again, they would have been playing with guys like Cam Haywood, Stephon Tuitt, James Harrison, Lamar Woodley, Ryan Shazier, Ike Taylor, and Troy Polamalu. Do you guys agree with that? How do you guys feel about that? You guys agree with that assessment and the amount of players that perhaps were missed or we had an opportunity to draft? Now, again, I haven't gone back and looked at the details. See, Antoine Hill is in here. So, if you want to ask him more details as far as, what is he comparing that to? Is he saying that the Steelers had a chance to take some of these guys versus other guys? See, I haven't done any of that research to know. And I just spilled a little bit of water here on my work computer. Give me a second, guys. Let me make sure it didn't get jacked up. Yeah. So I don't know the extent of the research, but he's basically just saying, imagine if the defense would have been made up of those guys. How do you guys feel about that? Y Diggy says the issue with that topic is that there's no guarantee that these players would have fit our system. That is true. That is a true statement there. Under the Ground, Connie Corso said, remember, Sim, we always have an undrafted free agent stud that comes out of camp. Yeah, I'm waiting to see who that's going to be. Could be Chris Owens. All right, let's see. Kenyon says, Sim, if you want, I would break down why they weren't, you said Stevens. Why they weren't Stevens, or is that supposed to say Steelers? I think that probably is supposed to say Steelers, right, Kenyon? I know the autocorrect be going crazy sometimes. Let's see. Debbie says, we can't know since some of these players play a different scheme. That is a fact. Deb is kind of agreeing there, saying the same thing that why Diggy was saying. Joshua Shields says that would have been fire. The Real Deal says, I hope that stud undrafted free agent is a DB. Would be nice. Tony Carson said Revis went before we picked. Yeah, because Revis was a first rounder, right? Was he not? I don't remember. Check the facts on that, Tony Carson or anyone else who might know. Did Revis go in the first round? Kenya says, Sim, I know why they didn't draft said players to Steelers. Okay, yeah. And again, maybe we can revisit this the next time we do a Steel Table, which should be relatively soon. And we can talk about that on air. Kenyon also says Sherman didn't fit in our system. Yeah, I can go along with that. The Red Wolf says, I think Bush will have a great year. He has to realize he is on the block if not. That is a true statement, the Red Wolf, and I believe Devin Bush will have a relatively good season. I just have a feeling. See Antoine Hill recognizing you and thanking you for donation here. Round of applause. He says he's going off of the drafts for 2007 through 13. These years were the building of the Killer Bee era. Okay. Yes, I'm going to echo what Thunder God says. Make sure y'all watch Tomlin on the pivot. It was great. I watched it today as well. And Tony says Revis went 14th overall. Yeah. See it. So, and that's the thing. It's like you're saying, you know, the assessment here is going to require that it even sounds like there may have had to have been a trade up in that situation. So, you know, I think what C. Antoine Hill is saying is imagine if it could have gone that way, or maybe some of these players we could have drafted and we didn't. So, yeah. Definitely a good exercise to entertain. Let's see what else y'all got, man. We'll spend a few more moments here before we wrap up. Oh, look at this, man. Look at this. Look at the spamming again. Oh my goodness. All right, hold on, y'all. Let me get it. I just don't understand the mentality of people that do this. It's really confusing. Like, what's the thrill? Very strange, man. Very strange. Sean says, but if we drafted them, who would we have missed out on? That's a very good question. Very good question. Under the Ground says, does anyone in the chat remember Le'Veon Bell saying the Steelers should draft Miles Jack and how he's going to be the star of the draft years back? I don't remember him saying specifically that. Not saying he didn't. I just don't recall the statement, but I'm sure it may have happened, though, if you're reporting that. Eric Walker said those teams were still good enough. No team has a great offense and a great defense at the same time. The Steelers should have at least gotten one. I'm with you, Eric. And again, I've openly admitted and openly said, listen, the defense was the reason why we didn't really win. And it was primarily during that era. But that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse, man. We should have, for me to say we should have is kind of forward, but they had to find a way. They had to find a way to win. That was the window of opportunity. That was the window of opportunity. Those were the last years of, you can't even say Ben in his prime, but it was the last prime-like years for Ben Roethlisberger. And it's like, it just didn't happen, man. Relfax says, what's your expectations of Mitch Trubisky? He has mobility and more arm strength than Ben, of course, but Ben is a Hall of Famer for a reason. His experience is going to be missed. Look, man, I think Mitch Trubisky, honestly, it still stands today. What I said months ago when we signed him. I still have a feeling that the plan is for Mitch Trubisky to be the starter, not Kenny Pickett. Right? Not Kenny Pickett. And I believe that Mitch Trubisky, looking at what Mitch Trubisky has been in totality, I think he will be able to run the offense that I think that Matt Canada is going to put on the field. And I think he'll be fine. Now, I'm not saying that makes us a 13, 14 win team, but I think we can win football games with the best of Mitch Trubisky and the defense that we're expecting to have and the offense that we think Matt Canada is going to run. Another donation came in from C. Antoine Hill, and as you can see, guys, we got a little over a minute left. A round of applause. He says the priority then wasn't to stop Brady, it was to score. And I don't know if we'll ever know that for a fact, but I have a problem with that, man. Because what do they always say? Defenses win championships. So we needed to find a way to win those football games. That was our window to get number 7. Now we're waiting for that window to open back up. Another donation. Betts Berg. Round of applause for the donation. He says, if the Steelers can add another consistent pass rusher to spell Highsmith and TJ and or relief in case of an injury, defense would be great. Yeah, man. I mean, if we messed around and got another edge rusher, then our depth looking real nice for those guys who try to get at the quarterback, you know, for the front 4, front 7, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And we'll see. You know, I don't know if there's anyone else still out there. I don't know if the Steelers are done with their money cap-wise. We shall see. We shall see. But again, man, you know, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up as it hits to 0 here, and it's going to say time up. And time is up. Time to go. Let's go ahead and wrap this show up. I appreciate you guys, you know, making this a great show tonight. I think we got some decent topics in. We got some good phone calls, so I appreciate you guys for that. Appreciate y'all just supporting, man. I see we got quite a few people watching. So I appreciate, man, that I'm able to have somewhat of some viewership here, man, in the off season. You know, you guys are the reason for that, and thank you for that. Especially with it being just me talking. You know, some people said it ain't easy to do that. I mean, it's easy for me, but I recognize that too. It might not be so easy to maintain a crowd or what have you, and it's just you. So, but I thank you all for doing it, because without you guys, I have nothing. So there you have it. But of course, before we go, you know what I'm going to always say, man. If you like the video, show me with this. Hit the like button. If you don't do that, I have no way of knowing. So if you like the video, like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Once you're subscribed, turn on your notifications so you know when videos are live or pre-recorded uploads. But outside of that, man, I hope everyone enjoys their night. If there's any other news that must be said, I will come back and do some pre-recorded video to talk about that. Other than that, I shall return on the following Tuesday for Terrible Towel Tuesday. And until then, man, I hope you guys stay safe. God bless. Enjoy the summertime. If you're planning to go on vacation or what have you, just enjoy your time off. And yeah, be well. And until next time, thank you again for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Catch you guys next week. Peace.